Alright guys, before we roll the clip on how to do the blower motor installation on the 94 to 99 Cadillac DeVille, we ended up doing it the easier way. The video, before I roll the clip, you'll notice that I'm trying to do a detailed how-to step by step. And we ended up just going the easier route because the sun went down and we got a schedule in order to get this build right. So stay tuned. I recommend you guys do this way. There's nothing wrong with this way whatsoever. It works just like the other way, but it'll actually save you guys some time. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll see you in the next clip. Welcome back to Custom Auto Connection. So today is Monday. We're going to be continuing on our custom Cadillac DeVille build. Like I said in the previous videos, we're going to have to get it right and running correctly before we do all the fun stuff. So luckily, like we were expecting, we got all the parts in the mail to make that happen. I'll go ahead and show you guys what we got in real quick. We got in our Bosch fuel filter. We'll be doing that with the pump. We got in our fuel pump. We got this one from Airtex. They have some pretty good quality pumps. Look them up. They're pretty affordable. It ain't nothing crazy. It's actually a really good brand fuel filter. I've ran them before in other vehicles, and they run pretty good. PSI seem to be running correctly when I run these ones. So, you know, I kind of stick to what works there. And for the fuel filter, we went with Bosch. Bosch is a pretty known brand for filters. So, you know, pretty clean, you know, just basic. And the other thing we needed was a necessity, not a want, was our blower motor. I got this in actually on, I believe it was Saturday. Whenever I posted the last upload is when we got this guy in. Pretty good blower motor. I'm not sure the brand. I got this one off of Rock Auto. You know, I didn't get it like new from like AutoZone, O'Reilly, or anything like that, because easily a $200 to $300 part. So I went to Rock Auto and got it for like 90 bucks. So not bad. You know what I mean? This came in. We'll be installing this today, and then we'll run a couple of clips, or we'll run another video on the fuel replacement. I think we'll just do another video because while I got it on jack stands, we're going to take care of the exhaust. So look out for those. Those will be another set of videos. But I'll go ahead and do a detailed install on this guy right here. We got everything set up. I'll show you the tools you need, and we'll kind of kick back the camera when we are ready to throw this guy in. So stay tuned. Alright, so cutting the camera back on. We are to the car, and right over here is where the blower motor is supposed to be. When I bought this car, it didn't have one, so that's why we're putting one in. I went ahead and checked the plug. It's a 3-prong plug. One's power, one's ground, one's remote. And I went ahead and checked the remote and the power to make sure we had power with the test light. And everything's good. So once we get this blower motor in, everything should work out good. We'll kind of see how it goes. First step we're gonna have to go with is taking off this bracket. And this is like a collision bracket. You know, if you get in a crash from this side, it'll kind of help out. You know, kind of like a roll bar would work. I noticed some of these Cadillacs have this, some of them don't. This one does. And another thing I noticed was I am missing, these are 213s we got to remove. There's 2 on that side right over there, and then these 2. This one's missing one of these 13s, and when I put this bracket back on, I'm actually use the one I do have on this one because this actually is from the strut. So, you know, and that one's really, I don't think that one is from anything really. That one just probably has a stud sticking out of it. But this one's important because we got these 3 for the strut. So we'll go ahead and zap these off. I went ahead and got my 13. You could use your ratchet to remove it. Got my ratchet right here, but I'm actually going to buzz them off. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll prop the camera up, and then we'll kick back on to the second step. Alright, cutting the camera back on. We went ahead and removed the brace. Now that we come down here, I went ahead and disconnected the sensor, the wiring harness to the sensor. I believe this is a map sensor. We went ahead and disconnected that, moved that over to the side, and we also have our blower motor connector all connected to this one big wiring harness. Usually there'd be a clip right here, and you could usually you get a little flathead screwdriver and you could clip it, and it's like a flap that opens. Because this one was already taken apart, it looks like they actually just broke it, that part of the clip off right there, and there's also another clip right here. It looks like they actually just snapped off. You know, when people do these things, they don't do a clean job. But anyways, as soon as you get these clips off, what you can do is you can move this wiring harness down out of the way, and you just want it past the access point for the blower motor. Alright, so now that we have the wiring harness tucked down there and out of the way, what you can do is you can take out these coolant lines that sit right here. I'm going to move them just how I had them, just out of the way right there. That's good enough for me, working around them and out of the way. The next step is actually going to be to take out the valve cover. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove, there's a 10 right here, there's going to be one right below it. If there's one up top, there's more than likely one right below it. So we're going to remove this 10. And if you go down to the middle, there's a good view of it right there. You're going to remove that 10. It's right in the middle of the valve cover. There's going to be one right below it. If you follow the valve cover to the end, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can move over to that side. But it's the very end of the valve cover over on this side. Let me see if you can see it. Right over there. So you got that 10. There's going to be one right below. I believe it's a total of 6 10mm fasteners. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've touched these engines, but I'm pretty sure that is what it is. So I got my 10. I have a swivel. You're going to want one of these swivels to come in handy. Anything that swivels. I also have the ratchet I'm going to be removing them with is a flex head, so that's going to kind of help too with the angles, you know, help my back so I don't have to lean up in there. But yeah, you're going to want one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and zap these off, and then we'll go ahead and kick the camera back on in a minute. Alright guys, as you guys can tell, I have the new blower motor installed. So I actually did it a different way without taking out that valve cover. The way I was going to show you was taking apart those fasteners like I showed. But the one on this side, even with that swivel, I thought I was going to be able to get to the 10 with the swivel. There was no way I would get to it at all. Not even, I don't even think a gear wrench laid down flat in there would get to it. I think we had to take apart the fuel rail. So what we would have had to did was take apart the fuel rail, get to those bolts, and then the valve cover would come free, and we'd have enough room to put in the blower motor. Well, it got me looking, because I knew I had a blower motor for this car that ended up being no good. That's why it was never in there. So it got me looking at the original blower motor and then the new blower motor. Like I said, this one that was a little more bulky, so I kind of wanted to see what edges were a little longer than others. So this one's actually a little bigger. This one's the original. And what it laid in there, to get it in there, I actually used this angle where the plug's at on the bottom. Same for this right here where the plug's at. You could see it has this whole new module on it that makes it a lot more blockier. This one, the plug is just flush. So, you know, those were the areas I was looking in. And what I did on the new one, it was this exact corner right here. What I ended up doing was I took a hacksaw and I just cut right along there. That little bit, it made it so I was able to put that in pretty flush. I actually used a hacksaw to do that. You can use a file, and if you just get that little bit of that taken off, you'll be able to put this in without any leaks, because you know you still have all that meat right up butt up against the housing, and it will not leak. I guarantee it, as long as you don't go overboard. And you wouldn't go overboard, because you'll see, you know what I mean, just keep a nice smooth rhythm and you're good to go. You can take it this other way, but this right here saved me a lot of time, and, you know, it's gonna work for me. I'm gonna button it all up. I'm gonna put this heat shield on it, and we'll button it up. I'll cut the camera back on, kind of show you guys how the fitment worked out, and then we'll kind of talk about how this install went after. So we'll cut on the clip here in a little while. Alright guys, and like I said, because this is a personal vehicle, You know, I got no problem with doing that. If someone paid me to do this job, I would just go ahead and do the other route. I wouldn't even chop it. I wouldn't even recommend it. You know, I just do it all original. But that's gonna work for me. It's not gonna leak whatsoever. Like I showed you guys, it's right up against there. I doubt that anything will leak. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, like, follow, subscribe. We're gonna see you on the next one. Alright guys, here's a little sneak peek of what's to come for this build. So yeah, if you guys stay till the end, you guys know what to expect. That's what we're rocking with right now. That's what we're gonna be rocking with later on. So we'll do the fuel pump and then we'll move on to the next thing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.